I have recently found myself researching the lesser explored areas of the world, from the rocky terrain of the Sicilian mountains to the scarlet sands of the Blandraken Desert. But one particular area piqued my interest due to its unique and strangely intelligent inhabitants. The Indigo Isles are a long since forgotten chain of islands in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. They were once very well known, as they were once the home to a very large and successful beast sanctuary, where visitors could interact and learn about many of the rare and endangered species the world has to offer. Many of these species were understood to have been hunted to near extinction as a result of their almost human-like intelligence, followed by the inane belief that by eating these creatures' brains, one could improve their own mind. As the sanctuary became more famous, it also became more of a target for hunters, whether they were under the same belief, were after a unique kill, or just after an exceptionally exotic pet, leading to a particularly devastating event. Accounts from the events are mixed, but all end with the same result. Hunters made their way onto the island and attempted to take the animals. This led to them fighting back in self-defense, with some getting a taste for human flesh. On tasting human, it led to a bizarre occurrence, with the animals suddenly gaining a bloodlust that they had not previously experienced. The end result: every guest, worker and hunter became the prey of these beasts, with even the most unlikely creatures becoming consumed by this desire to eat humans. A few parties had attempted to revisit the island, but as of yet, there have been no survivors, and over time most have chosen to forget what happened, and to forget about the island completely. With that in mind, I decided I wanted to see for myself whether these creatures were truly as monstrous as they have been made out in story. It did take a while, but I eventually found a ship and crew that would venture into these waters. A crew of 52 led by a Captain Zachary Rambler, who, like me, was very skeptical of the truth behind these stories. The issue was, we learned very soon after coming into sight of the first island that we were wrong about the falseness of these stories. On approaching, we heard one of the men calling out, claiming that he could see piercing white eyes staring at him from under the water. At this point the sun was beginning to set, and it was near impossible to see into the water itself. But still, me and Captain Rambler made our way to the man, intrigued by the claim. We had taken but a few steps in his direction when the boat tilted to one side and knocked every man to the deck. I stood up as quickly as I could, picking Rambler up, only to see the towering figure of a 50-foot sea serpent rising from the water, the unsuspected shipmate staring up in disbelief. Its scales were like emeralds glinting in the sun, but its underbelly and the spikes that protruded from its spine were a sickly yellow. It had fangs as long as my forearms, and indeed had piercing milky white eyes. I only took a moment to look at the beast before running in its direction, desperate to pull the shipmate out of the way, but as I started, the captain grabbed my shoulder, holding me back. Before I could say anything, I could see why he refused to let me go. The beast arched its back and dove teeth first, swallowing the man whole and continuing to pierce through the deck. All of our men rushed to their posts, desperate to get away from the beast. With the huge hole in the hull and water seeping into the lower levels, we knew there was little chance of making it to the island with the boat, but we didn't give up on getting as close as possible. The beast shot back up through the centre of the ship, knocking 3 more men into the ocean before swimming after them like a shark to bait. The water turned red and the screams were blood-curdling as more and more men were taken by the beast. Finally, the creature raised itself over the ship, arching its body and slowly lowering itself into the water on the other side, then rising again, looping around the entirety of the ship, before flexing and crushing the entire body of the ship, snapping it in half. Me and the captain climbed to our feet once more and ran to the front of the ship, still desperate to get as close to the island as possible. As we approached, we could see a ring of jagged rock pillars sticking up from the water, wide enough for us to get through, but too shallow for the beast. We dove into the water, taking a few men with us and landing with a crash. As we floated on the surface of the water, we could see the body of the serpent snaking amongst the wreckage, its body arching from the waves, followed by the occasional scream of another man. We couldn't wait any longer, so we swam towards the rocks when it started its approach. It was close, and the snout of the serpent crashed between two of the pillars. It writhed and chomped at us, desperately trying to reach us, but knowing it would be impaled if it attempted to clamber over the rocks. More of the men used the opportunity to climb through, but one particularly stupid man decided to run up the creature's back. It stopped snapping at us, whipped its body up from the water, and swam after him. By the time all the remaining men were accounted for, there were 30, including me and the captain. But I was considering myself lucky for even that amount of men being here for the voyage. Realistically, we should have attempted to stay on the edge of the island, where we knew our surroundings and had a clear line of sight. But luckily, or maybe unluckily based on later events, I was with a captain who wasn't going to let a few men dying get in the way of finding out the truth.